Welcome inside Lucas Oil Stadium, joined here by Ryan Day, only about a little bit over a week away from preseason camp. Just how excited are you to just get started with this team?
I think we all are. We know what we need to get done this preseason. It's very, very important to our season that we have a really good preseason. It's got to be a physical, really 3 weeks as we head into that first game against Akron. We want to build it the right way. Every season, you have to rebuild your team. And I think that's probably the hardest thing coming off of last year is, you got to sit around and you got to wait to get to where you need to be the next year. And so I think for all of us, we say, okay, what's going to look like at the end of the season? You start to quickly go to some of those games, and the truth is, that doesn't matter to us right now. It started in the winter, then it went to the spring, the summer, and now the next step is that preseason. But I think our guys are focused. I'm seeing urgency and I'm seeing a lot of purpose.
Going into year 6, what are the biggest things you've learned from all these past years that maybe can kind of guide you going into this season?
Learned a lot. Yeah, I learned a lot. You learn something new every year. A lot about a lot of things. I can't get into everything that I've learned. But I have learned for sure that you have the right people in the right seats. And the decisions that you make and putting, folks in there. Now, whether it's a player or whether it's a coach or whether it's a staff member, you got to make sure you got the right people in the right seats. And then, you got to coach the heck out of them and empower them to do their job. And then, continue to build that. But, I think that we've done that this year, and I'm excited about this group.
You mentioned on the stage this is a special group. What is it about this group that maybe feels different than your previous teams?
The fact that so many guys decided they wanted to come back. We've been talented in the past, but we've also been young. And, to lose, some of these guys after 3 years who go on to the NFL, not only are they bringing experience and, production, but also leadership. And when, a guy like Paris Johnson or a guy like, Garrett Wilson or, Marvin Harrison or, even Luke Whippler coming out after 3 years, it leaves a mark, even like Jeff Okudah, those guys, they're having unbelievable NFL careers and they deserve it. I think it's great that they went on into the NFL. But a lot of those guys could have been in the same boat that are on our team right now. They decided they wanted to come back. So then you had a guy like Will, who's 22 years old. Seth is 22 years old. Caleb's played a lot of football. You see yourself as a mature group who has experience playing. And I think that probably has the biggest difference across the board, just with the number of guys that have played football that have maturity.
You mentioned bringing in guys like Will, Caleb, Quinshawn. How have you seen those guys and all those returning guys just kind of mesh into become one?
I think the best example of that is Travion Henderson. I can't say enough about how Trey has embraced Quinshawn. I mean, it's not normal. This is a guy who loves Ohio State. He loves being a Buckeye. He loves his teammates. He loves the brotherhood. If he didn't, he wouldn't have embraced Quinshawn the way he has. He wouldn't have come back for his senior year, but he has. And I think that's just one example. I could go off about Cody Simon for hours right now. I just think that guys care about each other. I look at a guy like G. Scott, and you've seen some of the things he's done locally in our community and some of the leadership he's shown. So it's a good group of guys. That doesn't mean anything. We got to go put it on the field. We got to earn everything that comes our way this season. But you're seeing those things that are very encouraging.
You mentioned focusing on the here and now. What are the biggest things you feel like you guys need to accomplish here over this next month so that when you get into the season, you can be ready to achieve all those goals?
Got to establish our identity on offense. What exactly are we going to look like? Does everything have to be decided going into the Akron game? No, but I want to really get a feel for it. I have an idea, but I think Chip has great ideas and has such a library of different things that he can do. What is the right thing for where we are based on the players that we have? We also need to establish, the physicality. Get that callus and get that armor that's built up going into the season. And I think that, I think the camaraderie's there. I think the leadership's there. I think the chemistry's there. I think we just need to dive into the scheme. I think the coach has got to do a great job coaching and making sure that we're ahead of everybody else in the country.
Ryan, thank you so much for taking a few minutes of your time. We'll have lots more coverage here to come on 11 Warriors from Big Ten Media Days.